What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. You're listening to InCamp Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Hepler. Today, I have another Tracks and Tackle guest for you because you liked Ron so much last week that I couldn't help but get his co-host on, Kris Buchman. Kris is a waterfowl maniac. He loves things that fly and swim. So, he's got so many good tips for beginner waterfowls to advanced waterfowlers. And I know there's a early goose season approaching as we speak. It's happening in probably 2 weeks from the time this airs, sometime around that. But everybody's kind of getting geared up to it. The early resident goose season can be kind of a tough thing, and Kris has some really good advice for you, those of you looking to have some fun. If you're looking to try something new, waterfowling is one of the coolest things that you can do with a group of buddies. And I know because I spent a lot of time doing it back in the day. So there is plenty of great content for the Eastern hunter. And if you just love hunting stories, there's some good stuff in here for you. So check them out. Check out Tracks and Tackle at the links in the show notes. If you would, I would so much appreciate a rating and a review from you on Spotify or the other thing, Apple Podcasts. I'd so much appreciate it. I also like to hear from you guys. So hit me up at InCamp_podcast on Instagram. I love to answer your questions and chat it up with you. So I'll talk to you there. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. This is InCamp Podcast. The metalhead. You're a metalhead, aren't you? I can tell.
Yes, big time. Yeah.
Are you a Jesus metalhead or are you like a
I am. And you know, it's funny. I was going to put on, I have a death metal shirt that says Nailed Dead Risen on it.
That's a good one.
It wasn't available right now. I was going to wear it for you. So I'm just going with the black, but yep. I'm a Jesus freak, man. I remember listening to that when I was a kid. And
yeah.
My dad being like, turn that down. And I'm like, Dad, it's Christian. It's okay.
Yeah. It's Zeo. I can't understand a word they're saying anyway.
Yeah, dude, Zeo, man. Right on, dude. Yeah.
I had some love for Zeo back in the day. I don't think I could listen to it anymore, but I get as hard as like Blindside or something like that.
Okay. I drove all the way to Arkansas to see Living Sacrifice play their last show.
Oh yeah.
And then 2 weeks later they played in Gettysburg, which was 20 minutes from my house.
Oh man. That's funny. People don't know what we're talking about, but this is, if you heard a couple of bands we just mentioned and you like metal, maybe you should check it out on your Pandora list for the workouts, because it's good workout music, I'll tell you.
Yeah, dude. Check it out for sure.
Yeah. So, Kris.
Yes.
I was on your podcast not so long ago, and I had to do all the talking, and I didn't really get to know, I had Ron on a couple weeks ago. I don't know when your guys' podcasts are going to air. Sometime in August, September. I got like a whole bunch of episodes here, but I got to know Ron on his, and I really want to get to know you. And I know that you're like a waterfowl guy, and you're a Maryland guy, and you're a deer hunting guy, and you're like a whatever floats your boat kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But since our audience doesn't know you, and I know a little bit about you, how about you kind of give us your background as to how you grew up in the outdoor space and what keeps you connected to it now?
For sure, dude. Yeah. So my name's Kris. I was born and raised in Maryland. I have since migrated north and become a Yankee. And I don't claim Pennsylvania, but I live in Pennsylvania now, South Central. I grew up in the rolling foothills, 30 miles north of Baltimore, just south of Gettysburg, man. And, me and my brother say this a lot. If we told you how we grew up without any context, you would think it was the 1950s. All we did was play baseball, ride bikes. We shot recurve bows with our dad. Our dad actually built a log cabin that we lived in the woods.
Oh, cool.
And that's what we did, man. And we had a creek in the front yard catching crayfish. I got a crayfish tattoo on me, and just being outside. And to caveat that into like hunting, we were fortunate enough that our grandfather was a prominent farmer in Maryland, lots of farmland. And that's just what we did. Grew up deer hunting, nothing else. Maybe rabbits every once in a while, but we just grew up deer hunting, man. That was in our blood. And I didn't know, like you've probably heard people say, I didn't know that people didn't do that. I didn't know that wasn't a thing. Mm-hmm. I thought it was, everybody goes and shoots bows and their dad comes home with blood on the back of his truck, and, we're doing all that. So, translate that into where I'm at now. I grew up just loving it, man, fishing and hunting, and, it's just kind of taken over. If you've got people watching, you can see behind me. but deer hunting was it as a kid. And, I mean, you can't ask for a better way to grow up. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
romanticize it, but it's cool, man. Right.
Yeah, it is. My dad usually shot 1 or 2 deer every year growing up, but the blood on the truck thing, man, I don't think it really registered in my head until I was like 11.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was
Yeah.
like bringing deer home, but most of the time he'd have it like he'd bring it to the butcher shop or bring it to my grandfather's and then tell me he got one, not like, oh,
Yeah.
it's cool.
So growing up in Maryland, like, to you Pennsylvania guys, and I know you're not too far away, so there's probably some crossover guys that hunt in Maryland, but Maryland doesn't have like the $1 or doe tags. I mean, with you get your license with a couple of extra stamps, you can kill like 20 or 30 deer a year. And it's been that way. Like when I all growing up, it was, at least 2 apiece. So my dad always killed deer, and it wasn't monster deer. There was always a couple monsters and hammers hanging around, and there's no science behind why it was, because we just shot whatever we wanted. But there was always probably like 120s, 130s, maybe a little bit bigger stuff like you got behind your wall hanging around, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't. I'm trying to think how to say it. Like it was so weird for me because like we would take it on a tour, it's hard to explain that now. Like dad would kill a deer and he had a code coming up the driveway. If we had a long driveway, he would honk the horn once for a buck, twice for a doe, and we would jump in the truck, and we had check stations for deer. I don't know if you guys ever had that at all. And that was cool, man. I think we talked about that a little bit when you were on the show, but like that was a cool thing to see other deer. And then you might take it to your grandparents' house, and you might take it to a guy that went to my dad's church, and then you would take it to the butcher processor shop. And it was this whole big like tour, man. And my dad had a 2-tone, all the country songs are about white and red Ford F-150, 2 gas tanks, and there would just be blood stains on the back of it. And that was life back then, right?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's fun. I kind of like, you kind of think back when you're growing up in the hunting space and the outdoor space. And I grew up just like you, man. And you mentioned having a crayfish tattoo. That's a cool memory, man. The same thing. My grandfather lived right behind a pretty good creek, and he used to take one of those old nets, and he would have like that thing every year. He's fixing the holes in that thing, but I had 2 poles on either side, and he'd stand in one thing and be like, "All right, you go up there," and then just walk down and kick all the rocks, right? And he'd like lift that thing up. There'd be 100 crayfish in there. And put them in buckets. We ate them every now and then, or sometimes we just let them all go, but just see how many we could get. But
we would catch them we would do that. We would take burlap and sticks and catch them that way. We would just lift rocks up and put a dollar store butterfly net behind it and catch them. Yeah. And then we're in front of our house, there was a stream, and it like from different storms, and there was a culvert in a neighbor's driveway. It made this big pool, probably about 20 foot wide. It's only 5 or 6 deep. And we would just put a worm or a hot dog on a fish hook or a paper clip, let them bite it like a crab, almost like you're dip netting for crabs, right? Yeah. And we'd pull them out and catch them. We weren't brave enough to eat them. I don't think my mom would have cooked them, but that was just life back then, man. It's just cool, right?
Yeah, yeah. They're a little muddy tasting anyway, but
around here they're probably not the best, right?
Yeah, they're not crawfish, they're crayfish.
Yeah, for sure.
But dude, I love that. What's like one of the earliest memories that you can remember on something that your dad taught you about deer hunting that helped you find success in the deer woods?
So I mean, we can take that 2 ways. So my dad's a preacher, and we're kind of talking about some Christian music and stuff, right? So it was always real big on just going out and enjoying creation, right? Yeah. And just seeing the little things. The biggest lesson that he taught me about actual deer hunting was like, hunting hardwoods, probably very similar to where you are. There's a lot of farm and agriculture, but we hunted hardwoods. And the biggest thing he would taught me that sticks out to my head to this day when this first light is, you're not looking for a whole deer. You're looking for an ear or a tail twitch, or there's a front shoulder or a piece of it, right? And I mean, to this day, I'm going to be 44 this summer. I'm out looking in the woods, and I'm like, that log's tail just twitch, like looking for the piece of the deer rather than the whole deer. Yeah. And I remember him telling you, don't turn your whole head and body, just, turn slowly. And he's a big time bow hunter. So he's into that type of, that whole scene, slow movement, deliberate movements and stuff like that. So those two things drilled him. And stay till dark. Stay till dark. That was the
Yeah.
biggest thing. I remember a story a couple years ago. I won't tell the whole story now, but like I got down because it was cold. I ended up shooting this deer right here. And I was in my 30s, and I got down, and I'm like, man, my dad's going to get upset at me. And I'm like, bro, I'm like 35. I'm getting down out of the tree. And I walked up on a fence post, and that buck was standing there, and I shot him with a shotgun. So
Nice. That's
ended
cool.
up well, right?
Yeah. Good end to the story. And I
Yeah.
knew he was there, so I just
Yeah, I knew it. I had a feeling, right? Yeah.
yeah.
I was just trying to get warm.
Yeah. Do you think that, as far as you said that Maryland, you can shoot like a whole lot of deer, but they're always around. Do you feel like there were a whole lot of challenges growing up to try to find them first, since there was that kind of pressure, or you feel like you were able to kind of overcome those challenges?
So again, with my grandfather being a farmer, he lived for deer hunting, man. So he had box stands, the old wooden box stands and plywood stands up everywhere. He knew where they were. I didn't start using trail cameras until probably 5 or 6 years ago. And take it how you want. We can debate this if you guys like it. I mean, Maryland, you can put corn out for deer. So he would do that all year to try to traffic them and pattern them. And I don't want to say it wasn't difficult, but I mean, even with corn and with people down there all the time, you see them all year long. You guys probably do it all the time. You got them on camera all year long. And as soon as September 14th, 16th, whatever starts, where'd they go, right?
Yeah.
That was the same thing. I will say we didn't have as much pressure back then. We kind of knew everybody, and, now you got, even though we own some property still, farm property still, there's people that hunt the edges of it, right? And if this is another debate if people can get into, if I let this, 2-year-old 7-point go, the neighbor's not gonna, right? So those challenges weren't there. There was always deer around, and guys that manage them and talk about letting them grow, which I'm about doing whatever you want to do, right? There's arguments for that. And I mean, my grandfather would probably kill 30 deer a year, and there was always boomers. There was always more deer. I have no science to prove any of that stuff, but there was always deer around where we were.
Yeah, man, they find a way to hide. Yeah. I don't know. I won't mind like diving kind of into some of that stuff, because I'm the same way. Like, I really only started using trail cameras, and I bought my first trail camera in 2018 and put it out in January of 2019. So I never really used a camera ever before that. And I ended up like really diving into cameras because I started really of course, who doesn't like pictures of deer?
Yeah.
And if you can't shoot a booner, you can definitely get a picture of one.
Yeah.
And they're a lot of fun, and it's part of something that at one point in time, it made me really excited to get out into the woods, because I was like, oh, maybe I can find this and maybe I can find that. And initially it was more like the woodsmanship side of things. Like, I'd find a big rub and get really excited about this rub that's the size of my thigh, or finding a big scrape. Because when I was starting out hunting public land, I never found a scrape like that on a mountain in public land or something, So that part was all cool. And I still like trail cameras, but I've tried my hardest to use them as a tool and avoid them being a crutch,
Right. I see that.
So give me your take on trail cameras, and you can split it up, man. SD card versus cell cam, whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have both. I have one with an SD card, and I have one that I just started paying for.
That's the kicker, right? It's just
they're cool, man. I think it's cool. I started using them because we have a stream we were talking about before we record. I have a stream that goes through my property, and we had some beavers that went down there and dammed it up. So I'm like, this would be a cool spot to see if I get some ducks coming in here. Just kind of watch what's going on. So I took like a metal signpost and put in right by this beaver dam and put this over top of it. And I got some cool pictures, man. I even got deer swimming across this. I got an eagle snatching a fish off of the water, like just cool stuff, man. We will actually use them. We'll get into this later, I guess, if you want. We use them for waterfowl too, to kind of see where birds are roosting, nesting, where they're coming in and out, what time of day they're coming in and out. So for that type of stuff, it's cool. I don't think it makes anybody less of a woodsman. There's a debate with that. Because just like your tree stand or just like that, I can't just put this. I mean, I guess you could, but like, it's not going to do you any good to just put the camera in a random spot in the woods, right? You're
Yeah.
looking for the trail, you're looking for the scrape, you're looking for the rubs, you're looking for their bedding areas, right? The one I put over the beaver dam was an SD card. The one I have up by my tree stand now is a Moultrie one that I'm paying for,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm getting some cool stuff. There's always some weird setting that I can't figure out because I put like a salt lick out when it started to get cold over the winter time after the
Mm-hmm.
season,
Mm-hmm.
and the salt lick is gone, but I don't have any pictures.
Oh no.
So I'm like, what's going on? And then I have 1,000 pictures of branches,
Yeah.
and I have some. There's some deer on it, but I'm like, what's going on? So I got to figure that part out. But I think they're a cool tool. My brother and I always joke around that if you don't have a trail cam, every buck you see is a shooter buck. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
spoiler
Exactly.
alert, halfway through the episode, I'm not the guy that you can have big buck stories for. I'm
Yeah.
shooting for chili and tacos. So they
Yeah.
call me
Well,
the doe commander.
this is not really a big buck podcast
Yeah.
or the time of year to really talk about big bucks because
Yeah.
it's July and people
Yeah.
don't really care about big bucks as much as they will in
No,
October.
they won't, right?
But the thing that I like talking about trail cameras is I was actually I needed somebody to talk to about it the other day, so I was talking to my wife and I was like,
Okay.
I don't even know, like, I'm going to hang some cameras this year. Now I used to get like deep into the weeds on it, right? Like me and my buddies would hang maybe 15 or 20 cameras a piece, and we'd have 3 or 4 guys over a big piece of property, whatever. And try to actually pattern deer and stuff. There are places. My first buck on public, and I think I told you guys that story. I didn't even own a trail camera then, and I knew I would hunt that spot. And same thing, like this buck behind me up here. I had that deer on camera a lot, but I was gonna hunt the spot that I killed him at anyway, because I knew it was gonna be good. So it's like, and it like kind of like, yeah, did cameras like kind of confirm that maybe he was using that area more frequently than others? Yeah, and that's where they come in as a tool, rather than some people are kind of like, oh, there's a deer trail, let me hang cameras, and like I'm only going there when I start to see stuff pop up on this camera.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
there's only a little bit of room on that camera, man. You
Yeah.
might be missing the ball. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like my take on it. Cell cam versus the fair trial debate. If it's fair chase to you and you feel good about it, then it might be all right as long as it's legal,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm about, we say it on our podcast all the time, hunt your hunt. Just do what is legal, and if it rewards you for being outside, then do your thing, right?
Yeah, I agree. But you're talking about kind of like getting some waterfowl on camera. Do they play a pretty big strategy into your waterfowl hunting?
Depends on where they are. So, if you want to start from the beginning of how I'm looking for places, you're just going to scout just like you do for deer. We're looking at
Yeah.
fields. We're looking for bodies of water. I'm using them right now. I have a farm in Pennsylvania that it just looks like if you could draw, or if you could go to a video game, or a digital world, and make a place that would be the perfect habitat for ducks that you could just create in your mind, it would be this farm. And I cannot pattern when they're there. Same for geese. It's an 80-acre farm. It's a big rectangle. In the middle of it is this huge pond that's got willows and cattails and a marsh area, cover, open spots. It's surrounded by corn or beans. I go there in the summer, just like we're talking about deer. There's ducks on the water, man. There's black ducks. There's trophy ducks on this water. And I go there to hunt them, and I've seen them 2 or 3 times. So I have put these trail cams out to see if they're roosting there, if they're coming there at night. The pond it's like a perfect pond, but it's almost too big. Okay, what part are they going to, right? Are they going to land here and go over here? Are they looking for this? So for that type of stuff, yeah, I think it's a cool tool. And that's when I like to have the one with the subscription that's going right to your phone, so you can kind of see. It is cool though. I mean, going back to deer too, it's cool to take the kids out and pull the card out and have the adventure. And it reminds me of being a kid and going to the music store and buying an album. And I didn't have a CD player in my car at the time. This is how old I am, right? So I had to wait till I got home to hear it. And that was like pre kind of internet's coming up. So it's kind of, it reminds me of that. I pop it in the laptop and you're looking at these pictures and stuff with the kids. So, but that's
Yeah.
for waterfowl and stuff. Yeah, it's a cool tool.
Yeah.
If you can utilize, you got to be careful in some places. There's weird rules with waterfowl and
Mm-hmm.
using electronics in some states. So check your state stuff for that first.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's kind of like one of the primary. I used to when I first got married, I was like I did a hard dive into waterfowl hunting.
Okay.
And I noticed that waterfowl hunting is in Pennsylvania, it's kind of hard because there's not like a whole lot of water here,
Yeah.
compared to other states. And the Atlantic Flyway may not be the best. But man, I noticed that it was the most gear you'll ever carry. It's the coldest hunts you'll ever be on. They're
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the most expensive things you can do for like a little bit of return, except for the fun that you have doing it.
And
Because
that's the kicker right there, right?
dude, like you can be hunting with buddies and dogs and cooking stuff in the blind and drinking coffee and like
Yeah.
really just and learning how to call is a lot of fun. And the amount of birds that you can see if it's like a frontal day or something like that is just if you have not tried duck hunting or I didn't really get into geese too hard, but if you haven't tried waterfowl hunting, it is definitely by far one of the most fun hunts that you can have. But
Yeah.
what really drew you to waterfowl hunting in the beginning?
Kind of what you just said, and this is not me talking crap about how I grew up, but we grew up deer hunting, and it
Mm-hmm.
was here's your lunch, here's your drink, sit in that tree, I'll see you at dark.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The camaraderie wasn't there, and it was fun. We looked forward to it, man. And I'm not talking bad about it. Please don't take it that way. But it wasn't this social thing. And then in my 30s, these guys were like, "Come duck hunting with us," and I was like, "Okay." And that is when like Duck Dynasty started to kind of take over,
Yeah,
and
same.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "This is cool, right? We can try this." And again, I just deer hunted a little bit of rabbit. That was it. And
Yeah.
these guys were like, "Come with us, dude. You'll never think about deer hunting again." And I was like, "Yeah, right. Whatever." And we went to this farm and we got into some wood ducks, and I'm like, "Okay, this is what my life needs."
Yeah.
And just the social aspect, like you said, joking with your buddies. You can laugh and have snacks, smoke a cigar if you want.
Mm-hmm.
You're out there just laughing. And when the birds work in and when they dump in, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking about that yesterday when we were fishing. We were catching some smaller ones, and just like a guys talking out there, would you trade a mediocre day for one awesome day? So that's kind of with these ducks. You might go out for 3 or 4 months, and then that cold front hits, and it's like everything, here they come all at
Yeah.
once, right? And
Yeah.
it's just awesome, man. And it just got me. I have kids, so it's something I can do with them that they're into, and it doesn't matter if they're making some noise, if they're moving a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really fun thing to get with them, that I can bond with them. The dog is cool.
Yeah.
I actually teach a course to youth about how when you think you get into it, it's expensive, and I have a bunch of like hacks to like how to get into it and save money, and you don't need
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's my passion now. That's my jam.
I definitely learned how to save money like going along. Like you can find decoys that
Yeah.
are less expensive and paint them up nicer, or figure out how to make your own blinds, or even find even better if you can find a spot that's a better natural blind than you can
Right.
imagine, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I remember the reason I ended up getting into duck hunting is same thing. Like Duck Dynasty was coming out, and I was like, oh, you know what, this is kind of fun. I love deer hunting, but like now I can kind of like spend some time with friends. And one of my best friends was going to Greece to be a missionary, and he's like, me and my wife, we're going to Greece. We're gonna be missionaries. I'm gonna be gone forever, and he's still there. It's been like 10 years now, almost.
Wow.
Maybe 12. And he's like, we're going to Greece, and I would like to spend as much time with friends as I can. And he's like, and 90% of it's going to be with you, and we need to do things that we've grown up doing. But deer hunting, like we can deer hunt, but I want to do like, we're going to go bass fishing and stuff where we can like hang out, right? I'm like, yeah, it sounds good. I'm like, you should try duck hunting because I've done it a couple times. It's pretty fun. And he went once, and we both we had and if people don't know about waterfowl, you're kind of like, oh yeah, until you see that cupped wings and the feet down, man, then you're like, and a gun in your hand, it's different than when you're like, oh, now I get it, right?
Yeah.
And these two ducks came in, landed, and we shot, boom, like they flew up, shot, missed completely. And he's like, yeah, let's go again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
we're going to do this again.
Yeah. So we ended up duck hunting that year together 32 days.
Wow.
And here's what I'm saying about the return. I think I killed 9 ducks. You know what I mean? And we were hunting like a public place, like all the time. Like you have to wake up at 2 a.m. so nobody takes the spot you want to go to and this kind of thing. But over the years, I got pretty good at it. I hunted waterfowl for like 4 or 5 years, and, you know, we'd go out and we'd shoot like 7 or 8 ducks in one sit, you know, fill a couple wood duck limits with a couple guys or whatever, and had a blast doing it. But man, you could fill that blind with 4 or 5 people and just like tell Joe all the things that you think about in the deer stand, you get to talk about in the duck blind, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny because when it gets cold, sometimes you're cold and you're tired from getting up early. So some things that really aren't that funny are all of a sudden hilarious.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's times where I thought I was going to pass out laughing, and my brother goes with me, and, you know, my best friends, and now my boys are going with me. And it's just, you know, I can't beat it. You can't beat it. And even this pond I'm telling you about that I can't figure it out, we just love to go. I mean, we're blessed to have it. And I'm to sit there with your sons and with your buddies and your brother and just laugh and watch the sun come up. I mean, you can't beat it, dude. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing, how often in waterfowl, this was something that I loved about it. I love all the species, right? Like every duck is so different, and you got something that's so cool to see. What's something that do you have like a checklist of things that you like, oh, I need to chase this one this year, and kind of figure out where they're at and how to get them? You know what I mean?
Yes and no. When I first started, you know, and kind of to go back, what you're talking about, you think you need to get all this stuff. You got to buy all the decoys, and you got to get these, and you got to get this. And I've since sold 3/4 of my decoys. I only hunt with a couple of them now, because it's like deer. You know, if you hinted at this, if you have a spot where they're going to be and where they're going to go, that's where they're going to be, right? In fact, I was telling somebody yesterday, we were fishing, he was asking me about it. And he goes, oh, did you put a ton of decoys out? And I said, no. In fact, actually, you know, a couple of the spots that I go to, more decoys flare them up and they're going to go away. I said, it's like if you go to a Cracker Barrel and you see the parking lot's full, you're not going to go there. You're going to go to the next one. So where I hunt a lot of times, I don't put a lot of decoys out. And I got to kind of get back to your question, I got like elitist, you know, fishermen get that way too. They got to get the best lures, and they got to get all this stuff, right? And I'm only targeting largemouth, or I'm only targeting this, right? And I had a buddy that's an old redneck dude that doesn't go to the store. He's like a homesteader. We didn't shoot some mergansers that went by, and he goes, what are you doing? I said, well, we're shooting these. He goes, we're duck hunting. Those are what we can shoot. So we're going to shoot those from now on. And it was like, you know, so no, I'm not, dude. If it's legal and they're coming in, we're going to shoot them. There's cool ones I'd like to travel and shoot, and try to get. But, you know, mallards are fun. Big fat farm mallards coming in, dumping in. Wood ducks are my favorite, you know, without getting too Jesus-y. I mean, I don't know how you can't look at one of those and see that God didn't paint that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the prettiest thing on the planet. It's my favorite duck, you know, and they're fast. No, but anything when I'm out there that is dumb enough to come in and cup in and dump into me, we're going to shoot, and we're going to have a good time doing it, right?
Yeah.
You know?
I distinctly remember the adrenaline dump feeling. I was staring at my pack on the ground with all my gear, 2 hindquarters, and a 10-point rack. Even though I was riding a high, I was wore out. I was about 3.5 miles back from the truck, and even my hunting partner looked at me that day and said, man, I hope you brought a little go juice to get back. Let me tell you something, I was really thankful that day for Hydrate and Recover from Wilderness Athlete. It really gave me the pep that I needed to get back out of the woods with that deer. But even before that time, I had been using Wilderness Athlete for years. Their multivitamins, their probiotics, and their fish oil, they're always easy on my stomach, and their supplements have really been so great. I've tried other things, and I could never find something else that really matched. So if you're interested in trying their products, there's a special link in my bio. Clicking it does help support InCamp, and I really appreciate that. but I can attest you will love their product. Check them out, Wilderness Athlete, Fuel for the Rugged. Bird Dog Custom Woodwork is a brand created by an upland hunting buddy of mine. This company is cranking out some awesome pieces that are perfect for your camp, for your man cave, and even your home. They have some awesome things from tail fin plaques to cabinetry, and definitely pieces that could be heirlooms. Bird Dog Custom Woodwork can get it done, so check them out now at Bird Dog Custom Woodwork on Instagram. I always liked the one place that I could waterfowl hunt the most. Like, there was kind of times a year where you could spend time targeting things, right? Like you get that early season. And I don't know how Maryland is. I'm assuming it's probably similar, but we've had like a season in like mid-October that's a week long.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we have that September 1st goose season that lasts like a month or whatever. That's for resident geese. But that, that first week you could shoot wood ducks and teal and some mallards or whatever. And then as kind of like the season went on, you would expect like pintails to show up first, which I never killed. Then maybe some gadwalls would come around, and then you get like your widgeons and stuff like that later in the season. And obviously you would look for those like front days where the temperature was dropping overnight and the ducks would be coming in the morning. But that was kind of something that I always like. You'd go out and be like, oh, these have showed up. This is the time of year. And you'd be able to hunt those for like a week. What are you kind of doing to like scout those different times a year? And are you like tomorrow's going to be a widgeon shoot? I know what decoys to bring. You know what I mean?
So a couple things, man. So I have friends we have a little network, probably like you do, we're watching for cold fronts. I live next to some local bodies of water that we'll drive by with the kids. Hey, here, kids, throw some binoculars up. What do you see? Okay, there's bluebills out here. Kind of just checking weather. You're checking it's very similar to deer in this area. I'm checking to see what fields have been cut. Because if there's a food source, they're going to dump into fields and eat corn. If they see a bunch of geese, a lot of your ducks are going to dive. Mallards are going to dive into these fields. There's videos of wood ducks going through the woods getting acorns. Just there's no water around. They're just marching through the woods, right?
Yep.
So food sources are a big thing. A really cool tool that you can use, whether you support them or not, and it's free. You can get the Ducks Unlimited app on your phone, and there's a journal, a migratory journal. So we were talking about fishing earlier. Guys in New York are saying, okay, there's a big push for we're seeing pintails coming south, and then you can go to the next guy who lives in Harrisburg. They're here too, and then you can kind of track where they're going and kind of see, okay, the weather's doing this. Let me put this pieces of the puzzle. And again, without sounding like a broken record, it's like deer. It's right place, right time. I've shot weird stuff in farm streams that should be on the ocean. Why is this here?
So, the very stereotypical thing is use a dozen, you're talking about kind of like saving money and you sold a lot of your decoys. And I think it's kind of like, it is kind of, you just go down that rabbit hole, like with anything when it comes to gear, you're like, oh, the next newest and greatest thing. Oh, these are really nice or whatever it happens to be. And there's not anything wrong with that, especially if waterfowl is your only hobby. But like, if you're a guy that's kind of just filling it in, saving money on some hobbies that you're kind of just knocking off to have fun, or using it as an outlet to like keep yourself from getting too frustrated with bow hunting deer.
Right. Correct.
Go ahead, like tell people how you're saving money. Like, cause like I said, for me, it was like, oh, use a dozen decoys early. And then as the season goes on, you use more and more.
Yeah.
And, we would have like, in that January part of the season, if you could find water that wasn't frozen, we're putting out like 70 to 125 duck decoys on the water. And that's cold and it's freaking hard, like,
then you got to get them when you're done.
Yeah. And most of the time, buddies would be like, yeah, I'll meet you there at light. And I'm like, so I got to go there at 2 a.m. to set all these up on my own and you can meet me at light. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Like I want to go hunting. So I guess that's what I got to do. But like, what are you doing to save money and what's kind of like your strategy? Do you change as the season goes on? You stay the same?
Yeah. We're going to change. The biggest thing is, and again, it's like hunting deer. It's like hunting predators or fishing. You got to find where they're going to be. You got to find a spot they can see. You got to find a spot that's got all the things in their checkbox. And that is dependent on what time of year. Just like you said, if everything else is frozen, but there's a spring head going into this, um, that's what we're going to look for, So for me to save money, you know, small decoy spread with color. You want something that's going to catch their eye. It doesn't even have to be always the species that you're hunting. If you have some cool stuff, one of my favorite decoys is I have some shoveler spoonbill decoys, and they're just bright white, and they just have this really cool thing. And then from up in the air, they look really good. Color, a little bit of motion, and you can get like ripplers online, something to shake the water a little bit. Guys will use the flock of flickers, I think they're called, the little mojo things that kind of spin for doves. You can put those out to catch their movement. But they make cheap ones that just move with the wind. So if you got a good windy day, put it out. You don't need a ton of decoys, Diver hunting, if you're on the water, big water, they're going to come into where they see all the ducks are, and you want the big spreads. But for local ponds and streams, and even like I hunt a lot of public, and if you drive around out there, you just see these rafts. I lost me earbud. Sorry. You got these rafts and rafts of decoys, man. And I've had more luck tucking into like a little corner with just 4 or 5 mallards. And that's where ducks are going to come in. They're going to, it's a funny analogy, but again, you're going to lunch after church. You're not going to the place where there's a 2-hour wait and everybody's out the door. You're going to go to the next spot, right? That's the mentality you have to have. So a couple decoys, and you can always find them on Marketplace. There's things on YouTube if you need to touch them up and repaint them. But believe it or not, even if they're ratty, as long as they're not plastic and shiny, if they're not ratty, they'll work. They will work. Marketplace is a great place to go. Amazon, man, my brother. I have a nice pair of waders that I won on a Facebook raffle site. But my brother just uses a $40 pair of Amazon waders that he just puts his Carlhart coveralls underneath, and he's warm as can be and dry as can be, right? So you don't have to have all that stuff. Cover, camouflage. My favorite duck hunting shirt is a $3 fleece pullover I got from Walmart. It's olive drab green. Same thing. You don't have to do all this stuff. If you have the cover, and if you have the spot they want to go, that's the biggest thing. You got to have where they're going to go. Even calling. I have 2 friends, one guy that calls a lot, one guy that doesn't at all. And they both kill the same amount of ducks. I don't call much at all. Again, don't mean to sound like a broken record again. If they're going to go where they're going to go, they're already set. Their mind is set. That's where they're going to go. Sometimes we'll call a little bit. Geese is different. To get their attention, you're going to honk and get them to come in and get their attention. But that's the biggest thing. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. Amazon has options. Walmart's got cool stuff. The only thing that I would spend money on that I've had trouble with is get yourself a nice shotgun.
So that was going to be my next question. If you were going to spend money, that's where you would put it all?
That's where I would go. If you don't have like your dad's Wingmaster 870 that's been taken care of, get yourself a nice shotgun. I do have a really cool bargain shotgun that I have used and killed a lot of ducks. Mossberg owns the company Maverick. It's the same company. And you can get a Maverick 88. It's the same thing as the Mossberg 500 pump shotgun. You can get that in black for $200. And it works. And it's a pump gun. You can get it. What I don't like about it all the time, for me, is that it's very deliberate pump action. So sometimes when you're going out there real fast, it's hard. But if you have a kid that you don't just want out there wasting, pumping them off, it's great. It's great, because you do have to they make them for police. So it's a very deliberate bang, bang action, and you can grease it up. I have a funny story, actually. My wife bought me one for Christmas about 10 years ago, and she bought me the home defense version of it because that's what they had at Dick's. And, she was trying to help me out, didn't realize it was different. She bought it for me. So I had a friend that I work with who said, "Hey, I have the barrel that goes to that. I want the home defense barrel. I'll give you the real barrel and some chokes for ducks." I said, "Okay, cool, man, let's trade." So we traded up, lined up perfectly. I go hunting on public land. Here comes Mr. DNR. Well, I didn't realize I had the home defense version. It didn't have a plug in it.
Oh, no.
So I can rack like bang, bang, bang. So this dude, I'm out in the water. Coolest DNR guy I've ever met. He goes, "Hey, let me just check that you can't put a bunch of shells in there." He goes, "You can just stay out there. Don't come in." So I'm like, "Okay, 1, 2, this this third one's not going in, buddy. He's like, you're good. See you later. Have a nice day. I have since got a plug in it now, but so make sure of that. But, get yourself, if you're really going to be into it, get yourself one. Spend the extra 40, $50 too to get one that's like dipped or has like their camo wrap on it too. You're going to be in the water a lot. Semi-automatic if you want. My little brother doesn't like semi-automatic. He likes a pump, whatever you're comfortable with. But a good shotgun makes all the difference for me.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like when you're taking those far shots and that kind of thing.
Far shots, yeah. Yep.
What about your strategy for geese? Are you kind of mimicking it if you're on the water? You're using a small amount of decoys. Geese, I've heard, need more attention. Do you put a bigger spread out?
So for geese, yeah, you're going to put a bigger spread out. Geese want to know that that's where the party is. Mm-hmm. They want to know, right? And to go back to ducks too, if you're hunting on water and you have a couple geese to put out, ducks will go where geese are. I've killed more ducks over my goose decoys, even in fields.
Yeah.
Than just with ducks. So if you have a couple goose decoys, you can kind of put, that's what they call like a comfort decoy or confidence decoy. You can do that. For geese and stuff, you want a big spread. You don't want as much motion, but they want to see, here's where the party is. This is where the family's all eating. A big thing for geese when you're looking for them is not only where the food, maybe water is, but watch where they're flying. They're going to fly the same spots. They're creatures of habit. They might spook and go this way, but if you watch, they'll circle back and they're going to fly the same way. There's some cool stuff on Meat Eater and some different sites about why they think they do that. They're trying to figure out if they have like this infrared extra sense where they can kind of see where these trails are in the sky. But they're going to fly the same kind of patterns. So if you can track that down and then figure out where they're going or figure out a place where you can stop them, you're going to be A-okay.
Yeah. So before we get into stories, then I got some questions about the geese, because if this comes out like sometime in August, and you're hoping to hit that, you guys have an early goose season, I'm assuming too, right?
Yeah, it mimics Pennsylvania. Yep.
Yeah. So if you're kind of like, hey, how do you hunt resident geese, because they are different than hunting geese that are migrating? Mm-hmm. What's something that you would tell somebody like, this is how you're going to kind of scout for them? Yeah. This is how you might ask for permission. Those kinds of things. And we can kind of piece this apart. I don't want to ask too many questions right off the bat here.
So there's a really cool show you can watch. And I can't think of what it's called now. I'll put a link out. They're on Meat Eater. They own this thing called Flying V. I can't remember what they're called. But they have some really cool tips for that. Most people don't like geese. Most farmers don't want geese, right? So it's really easy to say, hey, can I come shoot geese here? 9 times out of 10, if you already have permission to deer hunt somewhere and you say, hey, can I come out and kill these geese? They don't want them pooping in their yard. They don't want them pooping in their fields or streams.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. But it's the same thing. You're going to want to see where they are. This time of year, they're schooling up and flocking up. You can kind of see where they are. Just locate them is the biggest thing. The opposite of deer, you're going to be able to see them right off the road. A lot of times they're right here. And I'm telling you guys, 9 times out of 10, if you roll up to somebody's house, even if they have a really pretty yard and pond, they don't like geese. They want them gone. And they're kind of mean. They call them cobra chickens, right? Yeah. So like a lot of people want them gone. So that part's easy. If you can find them, 9 times out of 10, someone's going to say, yeah, you come kill them.
So for the finding part, I'll give you an example. The lake that I live on, you can't hunt geese in the lake, right? Everybody's got them, but they're not here at night, right? They fly out somewhere else at night or go out to eat in the evenings or something like that. So if you're driving around, you can see geese in the area, but I feel like resident geese are a little bit harder to find than late season geese, because you see the late season geese flying and then like 4,000 of them are in a field. So these early season geese are kind of like, maybe there's 20 or 30, but you don't see them up in the air as much because there's less of them. They don't make quite as much noise,
Yeah.
So are you kind of like, is that something you might want to scout early or late in the morning, try to catch them and then go drive around and follow them to where they're going?
Geese are lazy. They're going to loaf and lounge around until they have to get up. Even when it's cold, they're going to stay on their roost ponds or till they have to get up. So it doesn't have to be early. I was driving somewhere yesterday and there was It was probably 9:30 in the morning. They were just hanging out in this field. So food is the biggest thing. They're not going to eat. They're going to go to a pond or they're going to go to a certain spot and sleep at night. And then they're going to go to where they're going to eat all day. And then they're going to come back to their safe spot. It's hard to hunt them on their roost pond, because you gotta get in there before you can really shoot.
Right.
And then the difference in geese, as dumb as they are, is that there's usually, like you said, 30 of them. So that's 60 eyes. And all it takes is one of them to be like, what was that? Let's get out of here. And,
right.
But if you can find a food source, that's the biggest thing. Food source and a flyway, just watching them fly. And if you got the room to put the spread out, they're going to come in there.
Cool.
They're going to come
Very
in
cool.
There.
Yeah. What tips do you have for early season geese guys about asking permission on places?
Don't BS. Hey, my name is Joe. Me and my buddies want to kill some of these geese. Don't schmooze them. Hey, good to be, but just right to the point. Hey, I see you got some geese out here. Would be cool if me and my buddies come out here. Tell them what you do for a job. Hey, I do this, or this. There's guys I know, and the reason I say that, there's guys I know that, I work for Keystone Hunters Land Management, and I'd like to come out. That was a made up name, but like, can we come out and kill these geese? Just say, hey, just be upfront with them. Most of them are going to say, yeah, come out here and kill them.
It's definitely, feel like it's probably a lot different than people looking for deer hunting or turkey hunting permission in this part of the country,
Yeah. We have a place that we go that we can kill all the geese we want, but they're like, don't shoot the ducks. Okay. So people like dogs, they don't like geese, and part of that, again, the geese can be kind of mean. You got little dogs or little kids, they'll chase you around and stuff, but just be upfront and honest. Hey, I'd like to hunt geese here with my friends, if you got kids, even that, I've said, hey man, I run this group. Can we come out here and hunt? If you have kids or if you want to tag along, I got the stuff. You got the place, I got the stuff. Let's go, right? And
very cool.
You'd be surprised at the people that extend themselves.
Yeah. Is there anything, like you said, how are you kind of working a spread for that? You're doing a pretty small spread for resident geese, or are you even using decoys?
So for like the early season, so I have a farm in Maryland and it's a rolling hill area, right? So I'm going to put maybe 24 decoys out just to kind of catch their attention. They are not going to land where I'm at. They're not.
Right.
But the way this hill area is, they're taking off from their loaf pond, which I can't hunt on. And they might only be 15, 20 yards in the sky because they're going uphill.
Sure.
So I'm going to sky blast them and kind of get them right there. They're not going to land for there. So I've never noticed a big difference in that. Again, if there's the food source that they're looking for, that's where they're going to go. Little pocket groups. Here's a group of 5. Here's a group of 5. Here's a little group over here. Leave yourself some room in the middle. But not like the late cold season where I'm putting the all the silhouettes out, all the shells out, The little family groups is the big thing. Little Very pocket cool. Here, little pocket here, right?
Very cool.
Silhouettes are the way to go. You can get a pack of 12 or 20 for $60. They're easy to put up. They look great from the sky. Yeah. They look great, and they're easy to put up and pick up.
Very cool. That's a good tip. Very good tip. So, dude, tell me something about your early waterfowl career. You kind of told me, like, kind of the beginning, you were in your 30s, your buddies asked you to go, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is what I need. What was a story early on? And it can be just like a real memorable hunt. Maybe you saw a ton of ducks, or it was just an epic day, or whatever it was that really like got you.
So we went out. I live in between like 3 public lakes right now. One of them is a very prominent place where you can, I'll just say it, it's Lake Marburg, Cadora State Park. You can waterfowl hunt there, and they do a blind drawing there. You can go there. It's going to be about 2 weeks. You can go there with your license. Yeah. You can hunt. They'll give you a map for free. You can hunt anywhere except where it's designated you can't hunt, but you can put in for a physical blind that you can build and put up, and that's your area. So we went and did that, and the first year we did it, we won, and we got this little island out in the
Nice.
middle of it,
Yeah.
and we're still kind of learning, and we got into some little one or two here and there. And I got off work one day real early. My best buddy did too. He worked with me at the time, and we called up my brother and we said, "Hey, it's 11 o'clock. Let's just go have an afternoon together. Let's just have the guys out. Let's go stop and get some subs from Sheets. Let's get some food. Let's just sit in the blind and have a day." Right. So we did. It's like 12 o'clock, man. That's not like prime duck hunting time. Right.
Right.
So we're sitting there, and I literally opened my sub. We put the decoys out, parked the boat, wrapping up my sub. I got a bite of the sub. Here comes 6 stud bull Drake canvasbacks, trophy duck, middle of Pennsylvania, and they're just working, and they just dumped in 15 yards in front of us, and we just smashed them.
That's cool.
I mean, and that's what people pay like money to go to the Eastern Shore for, the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see them out here, but they're not coming to lakes in Pennsylvania. They're going to the water, right?
Yeah.
And man, just the feeling of I've killed big deer. I've been to Iowa and Missouri, seen them. My dad's killed big deer. It was the same thing of like putting your hands on that rack, that antlers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm holding this thing, and I'm like, what? And that was my brother's first duck. Was one of those. So that's like, and all he wanted to do was kill a mallard. That's like killing like an elk, and then being like, man, I wish I could just go back and kill like a forky 4-point whitetail, right?
Yeah.
So kind of set him up. But it was just a cool day with the guys and the boat and high-fiving, and it was December. It was snowing a little bit. It was just what you want. It was like what the old stories in Field and Stream, from like the 30s and 40s of what you want with your buddies. And just got me hooked, man.
That's way cool. That's like one of those things where people are like, yeah, you should sit for deer all day, but you'll generally see deer in the morning or evening. You're like, But when it happens at a noontime waterfowl hunt, man, that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool, man. And it was, we were pumped, man. I don't even know if we sat the rest of the day or not. I can't remember, but we were stoked, man. We were fortunate enough to, right down literally 30 seconds from my best friend's house that I hunt with, was a farm. And the same thing, the guy was like, I got geese everywhere. Come kill the geese and ducks. This big creek runs through it. And it was like a honey hole. And that's where we were really educated about how to hunt ducks there.
Oh, cool.
Same thing, learned about spreads, learned about calling, learned about where they're going. We learned why they're called puddle ducks there. Yeah, this beautiful stream. Looks like you're in Arkansas. There's oaks in the water. I mean, it just looks like you're in flooded timber. And we kept hearing these mallards all day. They would circle us, and we would hear them. We're like, where the heck are these freaking ducks? And we're walking out. They're in a puddle in the horse pasture.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, I want these things dead. They're spooking my horses. I said, we got you. So we went to Walmart. We acted like we got clothes like we were going to rob a 7-Eleven. We got all black hoodies.
Yeah.
And we sat up next to his fence. We put 2 decoys in this puddle. I'll send you a video, dude. Here comes, right at first light, here comes 12 or 8 mallards coming in. And we just, one volley, smashed them all.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm talking dumping in like over our heads, 10 feet over our heads right in front of us, and we just smashed them, man. So
that's fun, man.
It's stuff like that you can enjoy. And my brother goes, my boys go, and I've said that a couple of times, but just the camaraderie with that's what my hunt club is about. It's just hanging out and high-fiving and just building that type of stuff. You can't beat it, dude.
So kind of moving from your early 30s to now, you've been waterfowl hunting for a long time. What's a recent memorable event for you, whether it was with your kids or something that keeps you kind of rooted in that waterfowl?
Man, that's a good question. Just I've said this on some other podcasts. Aaron from Buck Down, right? Did you know him? He's got a younger kid we were talking about, and
yeah, Alex.
What's his name? Alex. I'm sorry.
Alex
Sorry. Too many A names. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
Alex, and he's got a young kid, and we were talking about, stuff like that, and everybody's giving him advice about young kids. For me with duck hunting, it's like the littlest things are big things to kids, right? So I have my teenage boys are into it, and they're kind of doing their thing, but I have 10-year-old just turned 11-year-old twin girls, and I took them out with me. And if we didn't kill a duck, we didn't even see a duck, but they had so much fun going to Sheets, getting snacks, watching the sun come up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry, girls, it was lame today. They're like, what? This was awesome. I got a king size Kit Kat, and we watched the sun come up, and we saw a deer over here, and
Yeah.
Dad farted real loud. It was funny, like, so that type of stuff. It just that really grounds me and roots me back into it. And then watching my boys get their first ones. A couple years ago, my son got his first mallard. I was sitting right next to him, and a cool story with that too is we always listen to, I don't know if I told you this, we were talking, we always listen to This Country Life by Brent Reeves on the Bear Grease podcast. Like Friday nights, we're taking a ride. The whole family's listening to it. So I work in law enforcement. He's retired from that. I just sent this dude a message like, hey, we listened to your podcast. We love it, man. It's like a family tradition on Fridays. We just listened to one of your duck episodes. My son just killed his first duck. He wanted me to let you know. He goes, well, what's his name? And I said, his name is Presley. He asked me a couple questions. He sent me like this 5-minute long video, Brent Reeves, of like, hey, Presley, what'd you do, bro? You shot a duck. And just went through all this stuff, man. Just made him feel like $1 million. And I think it's cool. Like, it wasn't even me, right? It was just gnarly. So just being out together. I know that's cheesy, man. Just being out with my boys and just experiencing that. The coolest, now you got me, now my wheels are turning. Probably the coolest memory I have was we go to the Eastern Shore of Maryland, down into Assateague every year to duck hunt. And it's a big bay and a sound that you can go out in. And you can go out probably 600 yards and it might only be up to your knees.
Yeah.
So we're setting decoys out, and where we hunt out there, there is a blind, like a traditional big box blind, and you're in the reed grass. And I got my 2 sons, and they're teenagers, so everybody knows what happens when they're teenagers. They're kind of drifting away from dad, and dad's not the cool guy anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm just taking this moment with them. There's not a lot of light pollution out there, so you're watching the stars meet the water. I can hear things waking up, and I'm standing there in the water having like this totally spiritual connection moment with my sons. And you're like, dude, I wouldn't pay $1 million. That this is just the coolest thing.
Yeah. It's definitely, like you said, it's cheesy. It's not that cheesy because it's like something that we can all relate to, especially at our age. You got kids, and you kind of want to like leave something for them to remember, even if it's not something they get into. Like, remember you by, like, dad always liked to do this or like to do that, but also poured something back into them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think most of the people that listen to this, if they got kids, they kind of want the legacy part, and they want like the kids to be proud of what they've done, but they also want to say, like, even if my kid didn't really get into it, like, they could appreciate dad pouring into it, like, hey, this is if you're interested, this is what I like to do.
Yep.
I think that's really cool. And I think sometimes people listen to a podcast like this and be like, oh, who cares? They don't even care about being successful. They just care about the experience. Like, first of all, the experience is by far the best part, and it's the only part that really matters.
Yeah.
But we don't stop caring about being successful because we want the experience, right?
Right.
It's the part we talk about because it's the part we remember and the part we love. But I still like being successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I still like going out and killing stuff because that's why I'm there doing it,
Yeah. 100%. Yep.
And I think you can have both waterfowl hunting, and you can have both at the same time, for sure.
You nailed it right on the head, dude. I mean, just that whole experience. And I mean, you're a bow hunter, so you've been in the tree and you've seen deer that you didn't take a shot at, but that's still successful that it came in.
Right.
And you had that opportunity, whether it's a doe or whether it was this buck, or, I mean, that's what it's, we'll see these things. It's just cool, man. And I have like a little bit of a rule, and I did steal this from Chris Pratt, the actor, who's in everything now, but like, he's got a son that he takes fishing. And I remember reading that he said, when we're on the boat or we're in the blind, there's kind of no rules. Like, you can kind of say what you want, and you want to let a cuss word slip. Like, we're out here being guys. So I let myself be a different side of them. I'm a goofball and a big kid anyways.
Yeah.
But like, hey, we're out here with dad. He's one of the guys with us. He's letting us be kind of men or young men and stuff, and we can laugh and say what we want and joke and just that brotherhood, man. I'm about the brotherhood. If we can build that up and keep that going for the next generation, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. How do you think it's changed your relationship with your boys as they're starting to get older?
Oh man, it's again, as I was not close with my dad growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and again, I'm not talking crap on it at all. My dad was born in the 50s, was in the army. I had to have a flat top till I was 13. He's a preacher. I liked heavy metal and all this stuff. We didn't
Yeah.
always get along, but when we hunted, we had a good time. So to have that connection where we can go out and we're riding in the truck together and we're kind of working together, we're putting the decoys out or preseason stuff, we're checking cameras and stuff, it's just cool, man. And it sounds cheesy again, but there's studies and surveys of people that go out and invest that time into their kids, and they don't get into drugs and alcohol and stupid stuff, and they're
Yeah.
not out there. It's a good natural hobby for them that builds a lot of character, and it is what it is. It's just cool.
Yeah. It's definitely a good time, man.
Yeah.
So what are your waterfowl plans? What are your hunting plans for fall 2026?
Well, I have a goal to really get into early goose. It's still kind of hot sometimes when I go, and a lot of times
it's usually really hot.
Yeah, and a lot of times my family takes a trip to the Outer Banks in September.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work out this year, so I'm going to try to lean into that a little bit more than I normally do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put some work into this habitat and this farm I have to try to really locate them. One thing that I'm kind of infamous or famous for is I'm not about the grind. People are like, "Oh, it's the grind. I got to grind, grind, grind."
Yeah.
I'll put the work in and I love it. But when it becomes a grind to me, when it becomes work and it's not fun anymore, I have to tap out.
Yeah.
When the hobby that this is supposed to be my outlet. You have a crazy job you told me about. I have a crazy, this is my outlet, right?
Yeah.
So when it becomes more work than that, I got to tap out. So I want to have fun this year with my sons, explore some new stuff. I'm going to do some guided stuff on the Eastern Shore. I think I'm going to try for some snow geese this year. I think I'm going to try to go out for that.
Cool.
So that's my goal. So have fun and just do it, man.
Yeah. On that though, there's like a different kind of grind, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You can grind and you can work hard. Like I'm sure that you do.
Correct.
But the work has to be fun. Like, okay, Cam Hanes, whether you like him or you hate him, Cam Hanes likes to grind, but he gets enjoyment out of it. And while I'm sure there's times where there's frustration, and he doesn't even have to be Cam Hanes, somebody that that grinds really hard that you follow, I'm sure there are times where they get frustrated, but the enjoyment level overcomes that frustration. If you're frustrated and it starts being not fun, that grind part starts being not fun and a job, then it kind of isn't really necessarily a grind for something you love anymore. It's just like, what are you trying to get from that?
It has to be the fun outlet for me still. If I'm missing coffee with my wife or things with the littles and, and I'm just focused on this stuff, then I have to stop. I have to check myself out. That's me. Yeah. I'm not telling anybody else. You do what you got to do to get by, But if it's become so much work and obsession for me, it's my hobby and my passion. It's not my obsession. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I can't let it overtake little things, right? So you do what you guys got to do to get out there and put the work in. And I put work in. I'm going out this week to weed whack and put some cameras up and check out some stuff. And we're going to build a big blind, but it's got to be fun. It's got to be fun. Cool. If it ain't fun, I don't want to do it.
Love it. And you're coming up pheasant hunting this year.
Dude, so that's my number 2. You can't see my one son has a pheasant behind me here. I have a bunch of pheasants over there. That's my number 2 behind ducks is blasting pheasants. So I'm in.
You bring your boys up. We're gonna set up this podcast suite and get you some mattresses in here, and you come up for a couple of days pheasant hunting with the kiddos.
Twist my arm, dude. I'm in.
It's gonna be a blast. Can't wait.
Yes, dude.
Where can people find you, buddy?
So I'm on Instagram at 3B_outdoors_club. We're
Yeah.
just a club. I don't sell stuff. The only thing I do is push some fishing lures. It gives me and my followers a discount, and it's stuff that I would use anyways. Rebel lures and Yum and
Cool.
Arbogast. Find us on there. We just post pictures of kids and uplifting stuff, man. Check
Cool.
us out. Message me
Love
for
it.
free stickers. I'll send you guys free stickers.
Sounds good. And if you want to hear him talk more, you can check out Tracks and Tackle podcast.
Yeah, I co-host the Tracks and Tackle podcast. All kinds of stories, man. Hit us up.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, dude. Stay metal.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for tuning into my episode with Kris. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope you shoot a pile of geese on September 1st. Thanks so much for tuning in week after week. I so much appreciate it. This is InCamp Podcast.